See this right here, this is the NJSJ stereo surround sound speaker. And before we even get into the video, here's a quick snippet of what to expect from the sound of this speaker. Now that we've heard how great the sound quality actually is of this speaker, let's quickly unbox it. Hi guys, today we're quickly opening up this speaker over here, so let's quickly unbox it. This is the NJSJ gaming speaker. How are you going to introduce us with unhappy? That's just kind of depressing. I know I'm a gamer, but come on now, like, what do you mean unhappy? That's crazy. Let's quickly lift this out of the box. Oh, I like that lift. I'll be real, that was kind of cold. It kind of looks slightly smaller than I first saw on the actual website when I purchased it, but apart from that, it looks very similar. It does look very small though. I expected something quite bigger. But yeah, the unboxing process is pretty simple. The products look alright, I guess. It feels very high quality. First looks very high quality. Let's throw this mumbo jumbo away. And yeah, this is the first looks. Pretty cool. I know what you're thinking, it's quite small, but I'll have you know it's actually average size, and that's the last I want to hear about the size. Key thing that you need to know about this speaker before you make this purchase is that it's got 3 knobs. One on the far left is treble, the one in the middle is bass, and the last one is master volume. And it's great that all of these features are really easily accessible on the main speaker. It has RGB lights on every single speaker. Unfortunately, you're not able to change it, but it is still a nice feature to have. And the final key feature that you need to know about this device is that it comes with 2 normal speakers, the 2 small ones, and also a subwoofer. If you guys don't know what a subwoofer is, it's basically a speaker that's primarily made for bass. So expect heavy amounts of bass with this speaker. And funny enough, the first positive is actually the sound of this device. The sounds of this device is absolutely amazing. With the added bass, it just creates a lovely experience to listen to music, watch movies, as well as playing games. But just something to say about playing games. Primarily, I only play story games while using these speakers because they don't require you to listen as much. But let's say you're playing the FPS games, you need to listen out for those footsteps. And I'd highly recommend using a headset. And also something that I just quickly remembered about the bass of this device. The bass of this device is so heavy that even my table vibrates and moves around sometimes. So it is definitely a hefty bass. And even the little speakers do kick a little bit of bass to it as well, which is nice. Another reason I recommend this device is because the simplicity of this device. All I needed to do was plug it in, change the input on my actual PC, and I was able to listen to all sorts of music and videos as soon as I turned it on. And typically with any new piece of technology or something like that, I'm always fiddling around with an app trying to see, oh, it's working, is it working, or anything like that. And usually after trial and error, it eventually works. But with this speaker, I plugged it in once and it was working. And it was actually quite shocking how there was actually no errors, which is lovely. Although the speaker is cheap, like dirt cheap, £33, it doesn't feel like it. All 3 of the speakers have a decent amount of weight to it. So let's say you bang your hand against it, it's not going to go flying into a wall, for example. It is set in and it won't be moved around just by a little jig of your hand. It is a secure speaker, even though it is made out of plastic, and it won't be moved easily. And even the switches on the main speaker, they don't feel cheap. They don't feel like a very easily broken piece of equipment. It feels very durable and it feels high quality. Even the little switch to turn it on has a satisfying click to it that I really like as well. And the final main advantage of this product, I would say, is that the speakers don't need to be super close. On other speakers, there's not much cable room for all 3 surround sound speakers to be separated around. But with this, it has a super long cable which allows you to separate the speakers so it can fit your personal setup. So it's personalized just for you. However, this can be a double-edged sword, since the more it's spread out, the more cables going across your whole desk or underneath your desk, depending how you're placing it. and this can make your whole setup look unorganized, and if it's really far apart, it could eventually be a fire hazard. The further away you place the speakers apart, the more you're gonna have to organize, and if you're someone lazy like me, it's going to be a long while before I get round to actually cable managing it. While we are talking about cables, something to let you know is that the cables of all 3 speakers are integrated. This means that you're unable to plug it out. So let's say one speaker doesn't work, you either have to buy a new system or keep the broken speaker attached to the whole system, which makes your whole setup look really unorganized. And one of the smallest speakers that don't work and you'd have to purchase a whole new product, it can get really annoying. And if you just buy a whole new £33 speaker, even though it is cheap, the price can add up. For one tiny speaker, I feel like it is a bit wasteful. So maybe they should have a little plug so you're able to unplug the ones that you don't want, or some room for some upgradable components. But for now, I would definitely say be very careful with your speakers, since more than likely if one speaker breaks, you're probably gonna throw it out. I would. But it's just a little bit wasteful in my opinion. Another small thing that I did kind of mention at the beginning that I didn't like about this device was the fact that you can't change the RGB lights at all. It doesn't go with the audio or music, it's just an automatic switching lights, and it goes through a bunch of variations. But me personally, I like to personalize everything. I want everything to go along with my setup, and unfortunately it just doesn't go along because I can't put my favorite color, yellow for example, on my speaker. I feel like it's a little bit of wasted potential because I don't think it would be too hard to allow this feature to happen. So just be prepared for it to go through random colors throughout your listening experience. And the final disadvantage is that on Amazon, the advertisement is kind of misleading and the pictures are kind of misleading. I would say that on Amazon, the profile picture is quite big. It looks massive. It does look like a proper stereo speaker that probably can't even fit on a desk, for example, or it'll be struggle to fit on a small desk. But when I first saw it, it just looked kind of small. Not to say I was disappointed because it probably didn't affect the audio all too much, but I just expected something a little bit bigger, and this might throw a few people off. But now that I've said my pros and cons, it's time for the conclusion of this device. In conclusion, I would recommend this device because of how budget friendly it is and also the heavy bass that comes along with it. The only thing I would say is be prepared to organize your setup unless you want a fire hazard. And yeah, that was the review. Please consider subscribing, supporting the channel, and yeah, bye.